UFC in 2025
sucks.
It's starting to get dominated by these boring grapplers with no personality.
Big Ank.
You know, minus Merab. He's actually his personality now.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the Umar fight isn't just an anomaly, and all of his fights are going to be like that.
Yeah.
If we see Sean versus Merab fights every single time that guy fights, cut him. Cut him.
Yeah, it's really hit and miss with Merab. But other than that, we've seen a lot of new champions. We have Bilal Muhammad. We do have Merab, which, he's not the root of the problem. We have Ankalaev. I guess the stat that I saw was there's 4 champions from the Caucasus regions right now. Topuria, Merab,
Toporia's not a champion.
Yes, he is. He still is.
He vacated.
No, he's still a champion until they step foot in the ring. That's how it works.
Ah.
Yeah. The more you know. Casual over here.
Yeah.
So you have Topuria, Merab, and then you have Ank and Islam, who are all from Caucasus regions, and Bilal. So it's like you have a lot of foreign fighters who are taking over the sport.
Is there even an American champion?
No,
outside of Jones?
Outside of Jones, which hardly counts.
Yeah, so Tom, another international fighter.
Yeah.
Good for the sport on an international level, but at the root of it, UFC is American, and these casual 40-year-old dads who watch UFC once every Saturday night, every month, they want to watch Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler.
Yeah, it's very true. And
Sean Strickland.
Even Alex Pereira, it's different when an Alex Pereira fight comes on. You have so many more people watching UFC, betting on UFC, invested in the fight, watching the entire main card. I just don't think you get that with an Ankalaev or a Bilal Muhammad.
Well, and right now, if we look at our champions, Pantoja probably doesn't draw casual viewers in just because of it being flyweight, even though as talented and awesome as he is, he also just isn't very personable. I don't know if I've ever heard the guy talk.
Yeah, nothing interesting. At least. He doesn't cut a promo, let's say that.
Yeah. Merab, very underrated. Deserves more love, deserves more hype, but isn't pulling in casual viewers.
I think he will eventually.
But at this point right now.
Yeah, not right now.
Not pulling in casual viewers. Obviously, Ilya, international superstar. People are going to watch him. Mm-hmm. Islam, same thing, international superstar. Maybe the most established fighter right now in 2025. Pulling in the viewers. Next up, we have Bilal Muhammad, not pulling in casual viewers. Dricus, still not really. He, as much as very similar to Merab, deserves it. Fight or two away from being on that level, potentially, not pulling in casual viewers. Ankalaev, not pulling in casual viewers. And then heavyweight, you're going to get people watching heavyweight regardless if it's Jones or Aspinall.
Yeah.
So what we have 3 champions right now, Topuria, Islam, and Jones, that are, guaranteed, big purses, big pay-per-view totals.
Yeah. But there's problems with each one of those champions because Jones pretty much retired, so you can assume he's going to be gone in a year.
Yeah, not fighting.
Tom Aspinall, very new champion, new to the sport.
Yeah, doesn't have the same reputation as the other guys.
Yeah.
He's just a heavyweight.
And then Islam Makhachev is still going to have stereotypes from, the Western fan base being like, oh, we don't like this guy because he's a wrestler and Russian champion. So you're going to have that issue. And then Ilya Topuria, again, new, a very new champion, only been a champion for almost exactly a year now, about 13 months. And he's not even going to be a champion in 1 month.
Yeah.
So
and you're just gonna be these keyboard warriors are comments. Oh, these North American racist folks, they don't like any. We're not saying that. We are just kind of trying to articulate a potential problem that the UFC is going to see, and it's not a bad problem for us as viewers. Us as hardcore fans who are watching every fight night, every
we still know all the fighters.
Yeah, this doesn't affect us, and the people that are probably watching this video, this doesn't affect you either, really.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the people who will watch UFC once a month if it's a good card. Maybe they watch 4 cards a year. They watch, say 2024, they watch the Jones card. They watched maybe Islam Dustin. Maybe they watched Sean O'Malley versus Merab at the Sphere.
Pereira.
And maybe they watched a 300.
Yeah. And again, another issue is Topuria and Makhachev are in the same division now.
Yeah.
So the UFC isn't going to love that for their building the cards, right?
Yeah.
You can't build a card around, or you can't build as many cards if they're in the same division. And only one of them can be champion. So you'd have to have Makhachev maybe move up. But we're going to talk about what the solutions are, because in 2026, there's potential for a lot of change in terms of champions, a lot of new people coming up, a lot of exciting fighters. So we have made a list of every single division who we think is a realistic but ideal champion for the division.
Yeah, for the UFC.
For the UFC.
It's also interesting, though, is because we have so much, like, stack up in some of these divisions. Like, I don't want to spoil too much, but, like, a division like bantamweight, like, two of the guys that were set to be the future, Umar, Sean O'Malley, same division. Islam Topuria, same division for now, obviously. You never know what will happen with movement.
For my criteria, I used who is exciting, who's good on the microphones, who's going to pull in a casual audience, and then who's going to fight consistently.
Yeah.
That's kind of the 4 main criteria that I used. So for flyweight, I'll give you mine, Manel Kape.
Yeah,
I think press conferences, he's goated, for flyweight at least. Casual viewers, flyweight's never going to be for casual viewers, so kind of discredited that.
Yeah.
And then in terms of excitement, one of the fastest strikers we've ever seen,
Yeah.
So I think it's just an easy pick, and I do think it's realistic.
Yeah, I think I had Manel Kape, but I also kind of gave an honorable mention to Tatsuro Taira, just because with it being flyweight, you're not going to pull in those casual viewers, the same way that a heavyweight, light heavyweight, or one of the other weight classes pulls in those casual viewers, just because stereotypes that have been in the UFC for 10 years, and people just they think that flyweight is basically just an extension of women's MMA going to a 5-round decision every time.
And they'd be right.
No,
I'm kidding.
But like, so with this, Tatsuro Taira is your champion. I know we're talking about away from international champions, but it's kind of expanding into that Asian market, and Taira, young, could be exciting, could have some aura behind him.
Yeah,
Investment.
I think the Japanese audience is also huge,
Yeah.
You get that worldwide
even
power.
though we're talking against it.
Well, but at the same time,
Yeah.
if you talk about superstars, Ilia Topuria exploded, and he's from Spain.
Yeah.
I think when you have a nation behind you, it helps. Drickus, it's not working for you, buddy. But
yeah, Ankalaev, they already got their champ.
Dude, they have way too many now.
Yeah.
They don't need any more. All right, for bantamweight, I went with Merab. I think he's gonna be dominant for a little while, but I think he's also still good for the division. I think he's okay at press conferences. He doesn't have great on the mic skills, but he will put effort into promoting the fight. I think he will get noticed by the casual fans more and more. He's been around for a while, so he does have a kind of established name. I could have picked Umar, but I just feel like you have that audience already with Makhachev. You're gonna have the Russian fans and that part of the world watching because they already have 2 or 3 champions.
I mean, bantamweight, at the end of the day, it's the guy that the UFC wanted to be the future of the company. It's Sean O'Malley. They already built him up. People know who Sean O'Malley is. My dad, who doesn't watch UFC, knows who Sean O'Malley is just from everything he's done outside of the UFC. He was the guy that the UFC handpicked to, carry the torch and be the future of the company. And although he lost that fight to Merab, the UFC for the next 5 years is going to do whatever they can to get this guy into main events and title pictures and championship fights. He is the guy that if they could handpick and make anyone champion of their division, I think that they would pick Sean O'Malley to be bantamweight champion.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. It's the UFC wants it, but I think it's just slightly too unrealistic for me. I don't think he's going to get the belt back. So
you never know.
Shall we move on? Featherweight?
Yeah.
Featherweight was really tough.
It is tough.
Because it depends how much you want to accelerate the contenders, I went with a safe pick. I went with Diego Lopez because he's going to have that Mexican fan base, or I guess technically Brazil, but he trains out of Mexico. So kind of the best of both worlds. I do think it's important for the sport to have a Brazilian champion as well, just because that's such a huge audience for them. It's been huge since the Aldo days, right?
It's their second, I think the second most fighters are fighting out, are from Brazil.
Yeah.
Besides America.
Yeah. So I think it's super important to have that. And he's obviously exciting. He does have that a little bit of aura about him, super active as well. That's kind of the main thing that made me choose him. There's a lot of fighters in featherweight who I could have chosen that I feel like they aren't going to fight very much as champions. You could have picked Volk. I think he's a great pick too, but he's also old. I don't think it's realistic for him to be fighting 2 or 3 times a year like he wants to and still be champion in 2026.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I had Volk or Lopez, for 2026. You could have Volk come back and be this bridge guy, kind of bridging the next generation of featherweight kind of thing. If they aren't quite ready and aren't at that level, be champion for a year, have 1 or 2, 3 defenses more kind of thing. But I also had Lopez there because if Lopez is ready, I think that he has the fan base. I think he has the personality. I think he has everything it takes to be an international star inside of the UFC.
Yeah. Marketable.
Yeah, he's so marketable.
He's like Kyle, always at the events, always wanting to do promo, and I think that's a valuable willingness to be on video and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's just a step ahead of Kyle because Kyle just has no aura, just always there.
I debated putting Gene Silva, but because 2026 you could see him as the champion.
I think I had that in my championship predictions.
But I'll tell you something interesting. Out of the fighting nerds, who do you think has the most followers?
Protest?
It's Kyle. It's Kyle. Kyle has 400,000.
Okay.
Rufy has like 260,000, which is actually pretty impressive. Okay. Carlos Prates, about the same, a little bit more. Gene Silva only has 150,000 followers. Even though he's like this hyped up prospect making waves at the press conferences, he actually doesn't have that many followers on Instagram, which I was surprised about. And I know Instagram isn't the be all end all, but it is telling a little bit. I followed him. I gave you the follow, little bro.
You just wait. You just call him little bro. He's coming for you. You just wait till after 314. If he beats Bryce Mitchell.
100K followers easily.
Buy that stock.
Yeah. All right.
Lightweight time.
I'll just say it. I'll say it better. Lightweight time. Ilia Topuria. Now look, I'm cooking. All right, let me cook. Ilia Topuria will be the best for this division because he's the youngest, right? All these old guys. You don't want Charles as your Look, no offense. You don't want Charles as a 38-year-old in 2026 being your champion. Paddy, no, I just don't think he has the aura for it. He doesn't feel lightweight champion material for me. Dylan is getting red hearts from a girl right now. This is so cute. And you might say, what about Islam Makhachev? The guy's a beast. He's coming up later.
Oh,
my middleweight champ.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Well, I went a more traditional route here. I had Islam or Topuria, kind of whoever wins their inevitable fight, I think will be the champion for a year or two to continue, and I think the loser, who knows what's going to happen with them. I think it's so weird that if Topuria loses, it's like, is he going to fight contenders for 3 fights and then get back to the belt?
I guess so.
Drop back down to featherweight, just keep moving up, go up to welterweight, 5'7" welterweight.
He'll farm the belt just to get title shots. He'll go back down to featherweight, win the belt, go back up to lightweight, get a title shot, lose, farm the belt.
So I think it's interesting what happens with that, and I think in a perfect world, you have Ilia Topuria beat. But I don't even think. I mean, if you beat Islam, huge win.
Yeah.
But to go, it might even be the best win in UFC history. A win over Islam might be
now.
Yeah. History.
Could be.
So Ilia beats Islam, and then Islam moves up to welterweight, which kind of has a future champion mess. There's no definitive number one. But so I guess I'll hop on your bandwagon. I'll go Ilia Topuria.
I'm not letting you
lightweight champion.
I don't want you here. For my welterweight pick, this is where I have Islam Makhachev.
This is where I have Islam Makhachev too.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you just copying me now?
Yeah.
Because I have a good list.
Yeah.
No, I think Islam, he should move up, and I think that this solves the problem at welterweight of having boring Bilal Muhammad, JDM who's always injured, Shavkat who's always injured, Buckley, meh, he's all right.
Yeah.
He's not that star power material, I feel like.
Yeah.
Makhachev could just hold down that division for a year or two.
Yeah. Usman, old.
Don't even mention
Usman. Leon, sleepy and old.
Yeah, sleepy.
Honestly, the guy almost put his one.
Prates.
Gary.
Why Gary, bro?
I just think that he has the most potential to be big. He's Irish.
Imagine Makhachev versus Gary and Gary beats him. No, sit down. Shut up.
Here's the thing. Makhachev goes to welterweight. They are trying so hard to get the Gary versus Makhachev.
Probably.
Fight for
One
the
more
belt.
win for Gary.
They're like, Gary, you can fight down. Like, fights an unranked guy. Oh, give him the belt.
Rizvan Kuniev.
So, we have a video coming up where we're matchmaking Dustin Poirier's last opponent.
Yeah, you know we're cooked for video ideas when we have to make a whole video on matchmaking Dustin Poirier.
No, it's a big deal. But one of them, like a wild card I have in there, was Paul Hughes.
Why? It's Paul Hughes, bro. He's not even in the UFC.
Yeah, I know, but like bring him in.
Poirier is going to move to PFL for his last fight?
No, Paul Hughes comes into the UFC. You bring him over. And then Dustin gets to up an Irish guy a little bit one more time.
We've already seen that twice.
All about those narratives, those storylines.
Who's your middleweight?
Kamzat.
Yeah, it's Hamza, bro.
Yeah.
I debated not putting him because of his injuries and sicknesses and all that
But those
stuff.
IG followers?
I know.
Those IG followers?
The IG goes crazy.
Got like 10 times the amount of Jerkis.
More. But yeah, I wanted to put Drickus because I feel like 2 more wins and Drickus is mainstream, you know? 2 more big wins, Drickus is almost getting to that superstar level, and kind of like Kamaru Usman. I don't think Kamaru Usman ever had like star power, but he just kept winning.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh shoot, this guy's kind of good, you know? Yeah. KO's Masvidal, does Colby dirty. I feel like Drickus could be taking that same route, and Drickus has good mic skills, but Hamzat has aura.
Hamzat got everything.
That can't be taught. They don't teach aura in school anymore. Yeah. You know? Where do you think we got it from?
Light heavyweight, I have Pereira.
I have Pereira as well. You know, I don't think it's realistic to put him as heavyweight champ as much as I wanted to. Big Yank, he ain't doing it for me. Carlos Olberg, hell no, bro. He ain't never touching that belt.
Dude, it's Ming Yang Zhang is the guy.
I debated putting Ming Yang Zhang, but I don't know. He could headline a China card. China.
What? It's okay. One more.
Heavyweight, Tom Aspinall.
Yeah. He's the only guy.
Shamil Gaziev.
You know, at the end of the day, UFC, there's hope. There's hope that we get back.
There's light at the end of a very long tunnel right now.
Can you just pull out?
Oh, that's crazy.
You got him. You got him. There's light. There's a chance, you know? We got these fighting nerds taking over. We just need every champion to not be from Europe, you know, these little European mountain countries.
Because then it's going to be UFC at their times, and we're going to have to stay up till 5 a.m., and we can't do that.
Yeah. So let's just get Brazilian champions in every division. I think outside of maybe bantamweight.
Oh, here's a good idea. We get 4 fighting nerds as the champions versus 4 Dagestan fighters as champions, and then we put them in a big octagon and see who wins.
Ooh. Who would be on team? Like, if we matched it up, like, weight class, close enough.
So, for flyweight, because the fighting nerds don't have anyone, it has to be Tagir Ulanbekov for Russia. And
no,
then,
we just skip flyweight. We're going 4-on-4.
Yeah, 4-on-4. You need flyweight.
No.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about...
You have to do it by division, because the fighting nerds only have... Oh, you want to match the division?
I want to match...
Oh, so you want to have them the same?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
it would be like...
I thought you wanted them different.
No, so we'd look at like bantamweight. There's not really... I mean, you could do Umar since there's... You'd pick between Evloev and Umar for like featherweight.
Okay, but if we're doing the same division, Evloev versus Gene Silva.
I'd even put Umar. Umar push him. Umar versus Gene Silva.
Umar versus Gene Silva. And then you have Rufi versus Islam Makhachev, which is going to be rough. Rufi spinning wheel kick.
Protez versus...
Bilal Muhammad? No, he doesn't count. Sorry. That was racist. I'm sorry. That was bad. That was poor for me.
Protez versus... Who should Protez fight?
Islam.
Evloev versus Rufi. Islam versus Protez.
And then middleweight.
Kaio versus...
Does Hamzat count?
I was thinking...
He's not Dagestan, but he is Russia. You know?
Or we could just do Big Ank.
Oh, yeah.
Versus Big Ank.
Yeah. Big Ank, no diff.
Honestly, just bring Khabib out to retire. And then Khabib and Charles are the coaches.
That'd be fire.
And they get after it on the side.
That'd be fire. That's like a tough season, bro. Like, that's the Ultimate Fighter, but fighting nerds.
All right.
Make it happen.
That's going to do it for us today. Let us know who wins that. Team Dagestan versus Team Fighting Nerds, you know. I would be rooting for Team Fighting Nerds in that.
You racist.
No. I just think that 18 KOs inside of the UFC is a lot cooler than 18 boring grappling lay and pray decisions.
Okay.
Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
See ya.